Here are several detailed true crime cases from the 1800s, spanning various countries and often featuring elements that helped shape criminal investigation and public fascination with crime. 1. The Ratcliffe Highway Murders, London, 1811. Overview. 2 brutal attacks occurred just days apart in East London, resulting in the deaths of 7 people. The first attack was on the Marr family, a linen draper, his wife, their infant son, and a servant. 4 days later, the Williamson family, keepers of a public house, were similarly slaughtered. Details. The murders were committed with a heavy maul and a razor, shocking the public with their savagery. John Williams, a seaman, was arrested based on circumstantial evidence but hanged himself in prison before trial. The case remains technically unsolved. The case led to increased public fear and calls for better policing in London. 2. The Maria Martin Red Barn Murder, Suffolk, England, 1827. Overview. Maria Martin was shot and buried in a barn by her lover, William Corder, after meeting him for a secret elopement. Details. Maria's stepmother claimed to have dreams about the murder and the burial location, which led to the discovery of Maria's body. William Corder was tried, convicted, and hanged. The case became a media sensation and inspired ballads, plays, and penny dreadfuls. It is notable for early use of forensic evidence, body identification, and bullet matching. 3. The Burke and Hare Murders, Edinburgh, Scotland, 1828. Overview. William Burke and William Hare murdered at least 16 people and sold the corpses to Dr. Robert Knox for dissection at his anatomy lectures. Details. The pair initially started by selling the body of a deceased lodger, but then began murdering vulnerable people for profit. Hare turned King's evidence against Burke, who was hanged. Burke's skeleton is still on display in Edinburgh. The case led to the Anatomy Act 1832, regulating the supply of cadavers for medical research. 4. The Road Hill House Murder, England, 1860. Overview. 3-year-old Savile Kent was found murdered and stuffed down the privy at his family's country house. Details. The case was investigated by Detective Inspector Jonathan Witcher, one of the first professional detectives at Scotland Yard. Witcher suspected the victim's half-sister Constance Kent, but public opinion turned against him. Years later, Constance confessed. The case inspired Wilkie Collins's novel, The Moonstone, and is considered a landmark in British detective history. 5. The Lizzie Borden Case, Fall River, Massachusetts, 1892. Overview. Andrew and Abby Borden were found brutally murdered with a hatchet. Their daughter, Lizzie, was arrested and tried for the murders. Details. Lizzie was acquitted, but suspicion lingered for the rest of her life. The case became part of American folklore, inspiring the rhyme, Lizzie Borden took an axe. It remains officially unsolved and is the subject of numerous books, films, and studies. 6. Jack the Ripper, London, 1888. Overview. At least 5 women, all prostitutes, were murdered and mutilated in Whitechapel, London, by an unidentified killer known as Jack the Ripper. Details. The murders were characterized by gruesome mutilation and taunting letters sent to the police and press. The case led to a media frenzy and the first widespread use of criminal profiling. Despite exhaustive investigation, the killer's identity remains unknown.